My name is Lauren Burke. I'm the Director of Operations for Wood Analytics. And our first talk is Nikita Patel. She is the Director of Data Analytics at Solutions. And she'll be talking to us about patient no-show predictor. Is Nikita here? Nope? All right. Well, maybe she'll show up, so we'll skip to our second one, which is Thomas Hilling. He is a principal at Slalom, and he's talking about modern culture of data. It's more than smart people and good technology. So come on up, Thomas.
So was that just a clever introduction for the no-show predictor that she didn't show up?
It's very meta.
It is very meta. All right, so 5 minutes, lightning talk. I want to just introduce you to the concept of a modern culture of data, which is Slalom speak, for two things, both an idea and a framework. So I'll talk about the framework in just a second, but let's talk about the idea first. So the idea of what makes data and analytics successful within an organization, basically. And so for us, as she said in the intro, that's more than just technology, more than just smart people. The main way that you will know if data and analytics are working in your organization is if decisions are made using data, data-driven decisions, right? Consistently, accurately, and in a way that is helpful. So I think it's just as fun to think about illustrations where there are not data-driven decisions. And the funniest illustration of that I know of comes from the movie Moneyball, which I like to share a lot. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but it's based on a book by Michael Lewis, who chronicled the takeover of analytics in the baseball industry. And so early on in our industry, we would call current state assessment. He takes, in the movie, they take one scene and they have a bunch of old guys sitting around the table talking about how to make a decision of which baseball player is going to invest in. Mind you, these are 18-year-old boys pretty much coming out of high school, right? Who are they going to invest in, and who's going to blow up to be a superstar, and who's not worth the time and the money and the investment because they're not going to amount to anything. And they're sitting around the table trying to make a decision based on who's got a bigger butt, because that means they have room to put on weight and they're going to develop well. Who's got like a cute girlfriend, because that means they're confident and they're going to turn out well and develop. And the data-driven guy that the owner hired is sitting in the corner of the room shaking his head going, this is terrible, you guys. I cannot believe you make decisions based on this. That is not a modern culture of data, right? So when you see that happening, it can be for a lot of reasons, right? And that's sort of just a comical illustration of that. But we see that all the time, right? And sometimes it's because people want to use data, they just can't get the right kind of data. Or sometimes they're not interested in it. And so when you see that happening, that's when our framework, modern culture of data as a framework, can come in handy. And it consists of 5 components. When you see decisions that are being made that are not data-driven, use these 5 components to assess your own organizations. 1, bold vision. 2, access and transparency. 3, data literacy. 4, guardianship. And 5, ways of working. Real quick, since I'm probably only a minute left. Okay. Bold vision is all about leadership. You got to have leaders, right, who believe in data, and not only believe in data, but set good business objectives that analytics can help to support. 2, access and transparency. You got to get data out to the right places so you can make good decisions with it, right? Think about the example that I just shared of people who were not making data-driven decisions. They're based on gut instinct, right? That can work sometimes, but not all the time. We know that will fail you if you do that all the time. Getting data out to that group of people, making decisions based on how cute somebody's girlfriend is not going to be enough, right? That's why it's about the people and it's about the culture. And that takes us to our number 3, which is data literacy. Data literacy is not just understanding the right models to use or having a good data scientist. It's about the culture and the desire to use data, to go to data with questions and not just looking for answers to support the decision that you've already made. 4th is guardianship. You have to trust the data. You can't be given bad data. You got to have some good security, privacy. And last is ways of working, where I want to land here on this. Ways of working is when everybody is working together well within an organization. What we see a lot when we go out and work with organizations is business versus IT, or data and analytics versus the business or the sales team or whoever's using the data. don't be part of that. Help bridge that divide. That's ways of working. It's a lot of org chart stuff, right? But it's all 5 of those components that have to be working well together to really make a successful data and analytics organization. So use that framework, assess your own organizations, think about what is successful where you are and what role you can play. And that's the last piece I'll leave with you, which is a lot of analytics people here. My encouragement to you would be to bridge that divide. Be patient. What we see so much is when we go into an organization, there's a group of people that get it and love data and analytics and want to turn to it and use it for every decision. And then there's a group of people that are either intimidated by it, can't get the data right, that sort of thing. Us as analytics people need to be patient, need to be persuasive. Data engineers and data scientists are great, but we need data champions too that are willing to be patient and work with people who are intimidated or don't know how to get the data or use it correctly. Hold their hand, build allies, make allies, show them the wins, and that will lead your organization to be a modern culture of data. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks so much, Thomas. So we have some more time for lightning talk. So just a show of hands, who here likes talking about data? I know you're out there, you want to be here tomorrow. All right, who has in the last week or so learned something new that's really interesting or worked on a really interesting project? Show of hands. Really, you're all out there not working on anything interesting? All right, I know you're lying. All right, does anyone else? We're in a very casual, very fun environment. Anyone want to come talk about data? Talk about something fun there? Anyone? No.
Lauren. Good job, Lauren.
So, I'm one of those people when there's silence in the room, I have to be talking. So I apologize now. My name is Tracy Roming, and I used to work for the state of Ohio. I am newly retired and looking for a new home. Have been in a couple of conversations with folks here tonight, so I'm very excited about that. But my data story just actually happened today, and it was an interesting conversation. So I am doing some work at the golf course here as of late with some of my time. And so at the golf course, the owner is very unaware of what her prices should be. And so today, as I was standing there talking with one of the gentlemen at the golf course, I said, well, where is the information about how much she is spending on all of the inventory? So if we want to start talking about prices and how much she should be charging to make sure she's making some money off of these things, we need to know that. And he looked at me and he went, I'm not really sure. And I'm like, you don't know where what the costs are. So if I don't know how much it takes to make this in order to sell it and make a profit, what are we doing here? I mean, I know I'm new. I've been here 3 times and just kind of throwing it out there that you guys probably need to be using some of your records to understand how much you're actually spending and then how much we want to make, because right now you're actually losing money on everything you're selling in the cafe. And the guy looked at me, and then I realized in that moment that I was probably talking to the person who set the prices. So I took a step back and I said, oh, well, just thinking about this, maybe, because I know you're so super busy, I've seen you going around to all these multiple places, if we could get our hands on that data, like if you can find it, if you can ask the owner for it, if you can find it somewhere, I'm willing to take that and crunch the numbers and maybe kind of come up with a maybe if we raise the prices on the board about 30% across the board, the folks who come every day aren't gonna revolt because now they're paying this much. And then maybe we can actually make a profit across the whole board. So if this runs you a little bit less, whatever, you guys know data. So anyway, that was my story from today. And so what I guess what I want you guys to take away from this, or not, is where's the source of your data? And you make sure it's good data that you're working from, because these guys have no idea where to even find their data. So I was blown away. But anyway, hopefully we're gonna help them out. We're gonna take the data, get crunch some numbers, and maybe they'll make a profit in the cafe. So anyway, that's my story. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you so much, Tracy. That was awesome. So many key points to analytics, communicating with your stakeholders, making sure you're getting the data from the right place, making sure you're actually looking at the data. Anyone else want to come up here and tell the data story? No? That's all right. We can continue with networking. I think we might have had some more drink tickets, but I hope everyone is having a great time and hoping you're meeting some new people, making some new connections, and most importantly, talking about data, which is really fun.